In this lesson, we're going to learn how to overload the arithmetic operators, or at least two of them, the plus sign and the minus sign. Those are the only two operators that make sense for a date class. Along the way, we're also going to have to learn how to overload two composite assignment operators, the plus equal operator and the minus equal operator. We have to use those two to make our code work the way we really want it to. And while we're at it, we're just going to go ahead and overload the assignment operator also. So let's go ahead and get started. The arithmetic operators are overloaded in the class definition section of your code, unlike the other operators we've looked at so far. The definition for overloading the plus sign is very simple. We just write void operator plus, provided a parameter in for the amount we want to add to our date object, and then we add that amount to a day. I picked day just because that makes the most sense for this particular example. We could also overload for the month or for the year, but I think it makes the most sense to be able to add days to a date. That's the most common unit of measure in a date class. So let's go ahead and write the subtraction operator also because it's very similar. We just use the subtraction operator instead of the plus sign, and we write day minus equal n and close off the definition. Now let's run down to our main code and give it a try. So we'll create a date object. We'll write date today, assign it a date. Then we want to add 3 to the date. And when we try to compile and run, we get an error. We get an error because we have not overloaded the assignment operator yet. So at this point, we can't really use our addition operator, or can we? Well, it turns out we can, because we can write an expression like that. The way we overloaded the addition operator, we're allowing an expression like so, where there's not really a left-hand or a right-hand side, we just have an expression. Most assignments are done with the left-hand side, the assignment operator, and the right-hand side. Let me verify that this works. We'll write out today, and we'll come down and do it again. And then just for fun, we'll take 1 away from it, and then write it out a third time. Let's build and run. And there we go. So we have the 22, we added 3, we got the 25th, then we took away 1, and we have the 24th. But expressions like that make sense in some languages, but they don't really make sense in C++. That's not the way the syntax of the language is supposed to work. So what we really be able to write instead is a composite operator, today plus equal 3. That makes the most sense. That looks just like regular C++ syntax, and it is, except for the fact that we have a date object on the left-hand side of the composite assignment operator. So let's go back and add that into our code, that overloading for plus equal. Come back to the class definition. Oops, I passed them. It's getting kind of long, so it's hard to find the end. For this particular operator, it's going to actually return a reference to a date. The parameter is an integer. The body includes a day plus equal n, just like we did before. Then, a new little trick we're going to learn is we need to return a pointer to an object called this. This represents the current object that we're working with. So when we write today plus equals 3, this represents the today object in the code. It's just the current object of whatever object is currently instantiated. So let's go back to our main program. Let's build and run and see if the composite operator works. And it does just fine. Now let's go ahead and add the assignment operator to our code. It will look similar to the plus equal, just like that. It's going to take a const date object as its parameter, and we're going to assign from that parameter back into the current object's month, day, and year. Just like so. We don't have to use get month, get day, or get year because we're in the class definition. We return a pointer to this again, And I forgot to mention we have to return a pointer because that's what this is. This is a pointer to the current object. When I said it represents it, what I really mean, it points to it. So now with this operator in place, we can write code like so. Let's get rid of this and this line right here. And now we can write date tomorrow, and then we can write tomorrow is equal to today, and then we can write out the value of tomorrow to see that they're the same. Build and run. And our last one is the tomorrow object with the today's date. So to summarize, to overload the arithmetic operators, you're really going to have to also overload the composite operators for those particular operations. So if I overload plus and minus, I need to also overload plus equal and minus equal. I didn't implement minus equal in this example, but you can see how to do it. It's just like the minus sign with the last line returning a pointer to this. And then finally, I demonstrated how to overload the assignment operator so that we could write assignments like tomorrow is assigned today. And to do that, we simply pass in a constant date object as the parameter and then do straight assignments of the different variables that make up the state of the objects. In the next lesson, we're going to talk about how to overload the increment and decrement operators, and you'll find that now that we've done the arithmetic operators, increment and decrement will be quite simple.